Thank you very much, Chairwoman Emeritus Virginia Fox, and it's so inspiring for you to be asking questions with your portrait over your shoulder. Now we're also grateful to have from Pennsylvania, Congresswoman Summer Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say that history tells us that you cannot be pro-worker and pro the boss who is oppressing the worker any more than you can be pro the oppressed and pro the oppressor in any other facet of life. This hearing is just another opportunity for Republicans to go after workers and to make their case for why unions should not exist. They would rather a country and a world where workers continue to be subjugated by the top 1% than one where workers are able to collectively bargain for benefits, for workplace safety and fair pay, things that help our entire society. And instead of trying to diminish workers' power by talking about union leaders who are out of step with the Republicans' agenda, I just find it interesting that we never talk about, for instance, members of Congress who are out of step with their own constituents because they are doing the bidding of special interests, like members of Congress who are allowing their people to lose access to affordable health care at the end of this month because they will not bring a bill to the floor to protect it, or Republicans are holding an entire hearing accusing union leaders of ignoring their base but will not look inward. In fact, they won't jump without asking their corporate lobbyists how high. Workers are more than capable of regulating their own workplaces without unilateral oversight by the federal government. They don't need Republicans to further dilute the power they have to elect their own leaders. We need to get out of, not add to, outdated and arbitrary policies that restrict access to union leadership. I introduced the Union Participation for All Act is to repeal just unnecessary restrictions that prevent workers who have had certain convictions from participating in unions, right? We live in a society that already over-criminalizes people, especially black and brown and other marginalized folks, and then continues to marginalize them when they're trying to get back on their feet into the workforce. Barring workers with certain convictions from union employment and leadership is further unwarranted punishment from a system that already over-punishes. My bill would give the power back to the workers to decide who they deem to be best to lead them. We also need to hold corporations accountable. Unions comply with extensive disclosure and reporting requirements, while these massive conglomerates and their union-busting consultants operate without any oversight at all. Companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars each year on anti-union consultants, and corporate monopolies like Amazon spend $20,000 a week per consultant. Mr. Funk, can you describe some of the tactics these union-busting consultants are using to fight workers' organizing efforts?
Congresswoman, thank you so much for the question. Luckily, we have discovered a number of the tactics that are used, even though that they're done in the shadows, thankfully, because of the tips and evidence we receive from workers. Let me give you a few examples. During my testimony, I spoke of a union buster that was collecting personal information about nurses and their children. HIPAA violations. We have one consultant who was hired to bust preschool teachers in Denver being paid $350 an hour to sit in a bar where the organizers met and spy on them. We have another union buster that would follow the organizing committee around with a camera. We have a number of consultants that come in and say, I'm just here to give you the facts. I'm just here to answer your questions. I'm not biased. But then when we get a hold of their contract, it says that they get $25,000 bonuses for defeating the union. This is why that information belongs in the hands of workers so that they can make informed decisions before they vote.
Mr. Funk, just really quickly, can you tell me if these union-busting consultants and their corporations that hire them, are they fully complying with their reporting requirements under the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act?
No, it's a joke.
Why do workers' unions comply with disclosure laws at higher rates than union-busting corporations, just really quickly?
Because Congress and the Department of Labor have taken one side of the LMRDA seriously and completely neglected the other part of it.
Thank you so much for that. Republicans will have us believe it. The problem is these largely underpaid for their labor, rank-and-file workers who are trying to elect leaders that represent their issues and not these multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar corporations and their reckless and unlawful union busting. We have got to stop the madness here. We got to stop wasting time with these same old hearings about how unions are bad and big company bosses are the ones who are being hurt when people across the country are suffering with the highest unemployment rates in over 4 years in a manufactured healthcare crisis that Republicans created and refuse to solve. These are urgent issues that demand our attention, not whatever this is. I promise you, these conglomerates do not need our protection. Workers, your constituents do. Thank you, I yield back.